We're live, Mr. Wade. Are you, sir?
Pleasant good night. Pleasant good night to our viewers and listeners, both at home and abroad, and wherever our program ends up, in whose hands. Good night or good day, wherever what part of the world you're at. It's always a pleasure to come to you, the public, with sequence of events that is facing a little nation of Belize. That's what we
Sir.
mostly speak about because this show is about Belizean affairs. And welcome to our Belizean affairs show number 355. Good night, and it's a pleasure to sit in your company here, Mr. Leonard Brackett. It's a pleasure,
The
my
pleasure is
brother,
mine too,
always.
sir.
And
Pleasure is mine, sir.
it's on a blessed Wednesday. I want to give thanks and praise to the Almighty, Leonard, because tomorrow is promised to no one, so we must take advantage of the day he has given you,
Yes,
and
sir.
may it set well with you, and do the things that makes you happy. Uh, do the things that you want to do. As long as you don't hurt no one, or in any ill will to no one. So um we should also be joined by our Monday night chairman, Mr. Gregory Brackett. uh we really do need him every time we sit here, Leonard, because he's the man that, from their own lips and their own words, right? Show and
Yes,
tell.
sir.
Thank you. And also, Leonard, if Mr. Morrison's time permits, and he
Yeah, I'll
could
keep
show
my
up,
eye open just
yeah.
to make sure that
Yes, sir.
we don't let him
Well,
sit in the
no,
background too long, no?
yes, sir. Yes, sir. We expect him to brace us also, Leonard. But
Yes, sir.
let's see if we could, again, bring to the nation, the Belizean public, both at home and abroad, a very nice and respectful program here tonight. Um,
Amen.
and so, like always, we have our sequence, right, Leonard? How
Yes,
we
sir.
start our program. We don't want to stray away from that because that's what we used to do. So, without no further ado, I ask you, my brother, to please lead us in a prayer. Kick our
Uh,
program off.
Thank you very much for affording me the privilege to participate in your program tonight, sir. And I'll just bow my head and say a short prayer. Divine loving Father, as we come before thy presence once more, we pray that thou mayest continue to listen to our prayers and supplication on behalf of ourselves and family members and friends and loved ones, as well as our country of Belize, its people and leadership, and this country of the United States, its people and leadership as well. We thank thee, loving Father, for giving us a little reprieve of all these wars and rumors of wars and the devastation and killing of people unnecessarily sometimes. It is our hope that somehow or another this issue will be resolved and that we can focus on other trials and tribulations that we are also enduring. Please continue to bless those people who are in earthquake areas, tornado, volcanoes areas, um, storms, and you know, uh, hurricanes and flooding and all manner of pestilence and devastation on the face of this earth. We pray that they must give us the wisdom, the knowledge, and understanding, the endurance, the perseverance, and the fortitude to speak truth to power when need be, and grant us the words to be able to conduct our program tonight. May it serve the well-being of our people and country of Belize, Belizeans at home and abroad, and others. For we ask these mercies in Jesus' name, amen. I yield
Amen.
back, Mr. Chairman.
Amen. Thank you, Leonard.
You're welcome, sir.
You know, like we have always says, Leonard, that we are not pastors or preachers, or this is not about a revival show, or this is not about a church program. It's just that we here on this program we serve one God, and we give thanks and praise. That's the God
Amen.
that we serve. So
Mr.
whoever's
Chairman, Mr.
yes
Chairman,
sir,
I
yes
know I
sir,
like the survey just about that point in
no
time,
sir,
no?
no
And
sir, go
I'll
ahead.
say a different one, no, and I'll say the same thing, like I always say,
Yes
at
sir.
least, at least we know to try convert nobody to Christian or Christianity or Muslim or no kind of religion. But we are indeed trying to convert them. No, we preach to them, and hopefully our preaching makes a difference, and that they will see it necessary to look at what we're saying with some receptiveness and help save the country before we lose it, sir, because we're on that serious trajectory. Thank you again for affording me the privilege
Yes
to
sir.
interrupt you. But it
Yes
tickles me
sir.
when you bring that part up, right? Because
Yes sir. Yes
directly
sir.
what you're saying is exactly as you're saying it, but there are other ways that can be interpreted within the context of, So
Yes sir.
I'm just trying to
Yes
be
sir.
funny when I do that, right?
No, no,
Lighten up the game a
you
little bit.
yes.
Thank
You're
you for,
right. Yes,
for affording me that time, sir.
you're right on the money there, Leonard. That's so true. And like you always say, Leonard, we speak truth to power, right?
Amen.
You know, Leonard, it's sad to see how you know the trajectory, like you say, our country is going. Very sad. Those of us who are true patriots, and love our country and nation, these things bother us when you see our country going in the wrong direction.
Definitely, sir.
And Leonard, I say this, that what happened to our patriotism? What happened to um be truthful to ourselves and speak truth, like you said, truth to power, right?
Amen.
Is there anything wrong with speaking the truth, Leonard? There's nothing wrong with
Yes,
that,
sir.
right?
That
But
should be the easiest way to live our lives, and move
yes,
on in
sir.
life.
Yes, sir. But like I say, and I ask my philosophy. Whenever someone start to speak truth, Leonard, real truth, you're looked at as a bad person, as an evil person, and you are talked down for speaking the truth, right?
Yes, sir.
So, um, Leonard, I'll do a reading, Leonard, from Ecclesiastes, chapter 8, 1 to 10, and it reads, "Who is like the wise, and who knows the interpretation of a thing? A man's wisdom makes his face shine,
Amen.
and the hardness of his face is changed. I say, keep the king's command because of God's oath to him. Be not hasty to go from his presence. Do not make your stand in an evil in an evil cause, for he does whatever he pleases. For the word of the king is supreme, and who may say to him, what are you doing? Whoever keeps a command will know no evil things, and the wise heart will know the proper time and the just way. For there is a time and a way for everything,
Mm-mm.
although man's trouble lies heavily on him. For
Mhm.
he does not know what is to be, for who can tell how it will be? No man has power to retain the spirit or power over the day of death. There is no discharge from war, nor will wickedness deliver those who are given to it. All this I observe while applying my heart to all that is done under the sun, when man had power over man to his hurt. Then I saw the wicked buried. They used to go in and out of the holy place and were praised in the city where they had done such things. This also is vanity, because the sentence against the evil deed is not executed speedily.
Amen.
The heart of the children of man is fully set to do evil.
Mhm.
Though a sinner does evil 100 times and prolongs his life, yet I know that it will be well with for those who fear God,
Amen.
because they fear before him. But it will not be well with the wicked, neither will be prolong his days like a shadow, because he does not fear before God.
Amen.
That's my reading, Leonard, from Ecclesiastes 1 to chapter 8, 1 to 10.
The wonderful reading, Mr. Chairman, because I've heard you say over and over in regards to how this present government operates that this particular issue will not end well with them.
Okay.
And those are exact words that you just picked out and read there just now. I mean, it just fall right in line.
Oh,
I yield back, sir. Sorry for interrupting.
thank you, Leonard. Would you like to give a little public announcement there to our people, Leonard, please?
Yes, sir. Again, I hope people don't think that I'm talking about Christianity or biblical or trying to weigh in too much. But this issue that we have in our country right now is because from the highest level of our governance systems, the people that are leading us, including some of the religious people, I mean, they're not attentive to their task in the way that they're supposed to. And as a result, more evil is prevailing throughout the society. I mean, look at how they disposed of that lady the other day in that drum. Look at how the other guy took out his machete and chopped up that next person, like he was slaughtering a pig or a snake or something that he had to defend himself from. Look at all these shootings that these people are doing, and then the government now is attempting to get tough by bringing the BDF instead of putting them on the borders to try and help us um, keep our borders safe and secured. You know, they can bring them to the city to deal with the people, especially in the black communities. There's no need for an SOE in Majestic Alley where the police officer got shot and the little kid was killed and the other person was also killed. You know, these guys are not managing adequately. They're managing like if there's a preference for them in terms of who they interact with and who they do harm to or who they want to bring justice for or against. They're not doing things across the board in terms of how justice is supposed to prevail, in terms of how the governance is supposed to operate, in terms of what the Constitution mandates that they do. And the end result is that everybody is taking the system of justice into their own hand, exercising their own justice, whether right, wrong, or just indifferent. And in some cases, I mean, even among family members. And it bothers me a lot, stresses me a lot to realize that a small country like that, with less than half a million people, can't live and let live and survive without that level of violence that we have seen in the republics. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Leonard.
You're welcome, sir.
You touch a little chord there, Leonard. You know, and it all makes me think about what is wrong with society. Me and you, we could go back to some good times in the 60s and 70s and 80s, in our little nation of Belize, where, Leonard, you could have slept with your windows open. I don't know if you could remember that.
I remember that,
You
sir.
know, when I say, Leonard,
People
you
used to
could,
have their screen windows and their
yes,
screen doors, and so they didn't lock their screen door.
yes, sir.
So the captain could go in and come out how they want.
Yes, sir. And what I say that is that with a sense of good feeling, a security, you feel
Sure.
safe,
Yes,
right?
sir.
Can you do that now, 2025? Can you do that,
I
right?
doubt it.
So anyway, Leonard, I want to, if you permit me a little bit here, then we could discuss some of the issues that is on my mind, and what I see that it's a matter of national importance for us to talk about. Um, as we know, my people, both at home and abroad, there's a weed referendum right now in a little portion of Belize, a little constituency of 1,000. The whole constituency is 1,000, I think 445, I think, voters. Right, that's a little constituency of.
Well, Mr. Chairman, can I ask you a question, sir?
Yes, sir.
I'm not too sure if that number was the number that was collected in the last general election, because it is quite possible that some people had moved to that jurisdiction or was moved over into that jurisdiction specifically for this task that's at hand. They always like to pull in shenanigans there. So
That's what they
I'm
do.
trying to, because from what I recall, the number was much less than 1,000 people in that area, in that
Yes,
little
sir.
village, that
Yes,
that
sir.
island. But I wouldn't
So
argue
we
the
will,
point.
yeah, we will discuss that,
I wouldn't
Leonard.
be over it.
So I just trying to paint a picture. Then we could start to dissect who are the players in those pictures that I will paint, pretty much, right?
Yes, sir.
But yes, my people, as I speak, the counting is still going on. Um, in Kikaker, and there's two elements to that. There's a yes vote and a no vote to the implementation of that marijuana um, referendum. So you have, one sector of the government, the people that you pay to serve and protect us, that is fully behind a yes to the marijuana bill. And you have a little portion, the church, which is, and other people, which with the no vote, which is partly championed by my cousin Louis Wade Jr. Right? Um, he is a star no to the weed bill. So that speaks volume for me, right? Like I hear me says, the yes vote is championed by the people who you had elected to protect and serve us. So that's one of the things that I want to talk about. And then we have, we the redistricting. We want to talk about that, where we at, and the ICJ, where we at, what we know so far. And then we have the police report that was handed from one hand, the investigator, to the other hand, the prime minister, and then from the other hand went to nobody because apparently to this same police minister that is pushing the weed bill says that cabinet has not seen that report. But from the other mouth of the prime minister, he will present it to cabinet. See, all this, go back and see what I'm talking about, what these people talk about comes from their very own mouth. And then it makes you think, wow, my prime minister, what is he doing a good job? And oh, my police minister is doing a good job. And all the things that they say are so true. So we want to talk about that as we have been talking about from the time of inception of that illegal abduction of Mr. Budner. We'll talk about that. And then there's something new that caught my eyes. The immigration, Belize immigration, not Guatemala immigration or Salvador immigration or US. Belize Immigration Department, our immigration department, is sending out a message to the amnesty applicants, whoever they are, that your children that you left across the world over yonder thing, you could apply for amnesty for them and it will be free of charge. Okay, and I think they put out a number that they will facilitate, right? But now that speaks volume to me based on what I see that is going on in my country with my people, what they are going through. So now you hear the immigration department, your immigration department, Belize, the people's immigration department, not Brisenyo immigration department, not Dean Barrow or Tracy Panton or Shine Barrow immigration department. No, the country's immigration department is inviting and for free. Inviting. Apply for them if you got 9 kids over here, wherever you come from, or 10 years or 3 years and 2 years. Apply for them for amnesty. And it's for the amnesty seek applicants only. For me, like I say, that speaks volume. Leonard, let's dissect whichever one you want to jump on for. Maybe you want to jump on the weed bill that is going on right now.
I want to jump on all of them, but
as I speak.
by the time I jump on one of them, that one might
No,
turn me
no,
over
Leonard,
and
I'm
push me
telling you,
down.
these are very
Crazy.
key points for me. These are eye openers for me. I don't know about the rest of the Belizean people, right? But I like to talk about it. I like to talk about it. Go ahead, my brother.
I'll do the last one I will bring up first, then. Okay? The amnesty stuff when they talk about. That amnesty thing was and continues to be a sore thumb sticking our Belizeans' eyes. Okay? In fact, I wouldn't even say a sore thumb. Let me reclassify that phrase or that thought or perspective. It's a middle finger up a nose. Is the way I would describe it more aptly or appropriately. Because it's not because these guys don't know better. It's not because they don't know the Constitution. The Constitution allows the government in power to be able to create policies of state that follows the Constitution when they are doing these things. There are guidance there, procedures, protocols, there are laws, there are constitutional sections that they have to abide by. But as usual, the current government in power operates in the absence of a constitution. which they don't have any regards, respect, or fidelity to, and they just do what they want. And since they are the government, even when they are violating the laws that's supposed to govern the system, it's like they're saying, well, we do what we want, and if you don't like, so tough luck. We don't care about no constitution. We are the government, and we run things here. Like what Jules would have said, we run things here.
Yes.
I mean, I'm smiling, but I'm smiling or I'm laughing for trying to avoid crying. That's how treacherous and how dangerous these people are. For a few dollars that they are getting from the international migration community, they are willing to subvert the demographic status of the country in such a bastardly way. And then, like you said, they're saying that they're doing it for free. Well, they're doing it for free for those people. They're collecting some money from some other people that's allowing them to be able to so-called pay for these services. Okay, but the payment for these services is to change the demography of our country and to Latinize the former British colony under the new name Belize now, and for it not to be an independent country as they have been stipulating before. That is that you lost your independence by the change of your demography. The new identity people that they're saying that we need to have a new identity, and the people that they are bringing in is creating that new identity, and it's all being done legal, bringing in more people than what exists in the country to overwhelm the people in the country and to vote them on any of the policies that they put forward, which is basically a treacherous undertaking. What makes it worse is that they don't afford the people of the country who born and grow there these kind of activities or privileges or opportunities. The people who born and grew up in the country can't get one house lot, much less from farmland. Why? Because the government is of the impression that if they give the local population anything for free, of course, it belongs to us, you know. It's our patrimony. It's our asset that they're taking and selling to other people. They're not selling to we because we don't got no money to pay for it. They sell to others who could give them a little money under the table, one little suborn, one little, you know, whatever it's going to take, you know, that's what it's all about. So the Belizean patrimony and the wealth untold that we have is afforded for others to enjoy and denied to us, the locally born, grown, and lived Belizeans, to the point where that is not the only thing they're doing. I'm going to take the other thing that they're doing. Not only are they dispossessing us of our rights to have ownership to any part of our country or to get any services out of the system, especially for free, like they are offering to these people. They're using our military now to help the police officers to stamp down the black community, categorizing them as problem people. If you're black, you're basically a problem to the government just by being black. So you have to be targeted, you have to be marginalized, you have to be suppressed and oppressed, and you have to be deemed as not worthy of even getting a job, getting an education, getting anything that will allow you to change your poverty-stricken status. But all of that is being afforded to, you know, the new identity. So now They're not going to classify what they're doing under an SOE because they get too much blowback on that. So they won't call it an SOE. They just call it a police operation. And the police operation that they're exercising or carrying out is not to go and collect the ones that they know are the drug dealers then, or the ones that they know are the hardcore criminal gang leaders then. No. They make deals with these gang leaders. They pay them under the LIU program so that they can have funds to facilitate taking care of their daily needs so they don't have to go and commit crimes to survive off of. While they're turning around and using the police force and the military forces to suppress the rest of the
Thank
community
you,
who are not
Leonard.
members of the gang.
I want to
Are you back, sir? Are you back?
interject. Yes,
Yeah, so,
um,
Greg is on the back
Greg,
line.
I want to welcome you, my brother, to the program. Sorry, not sorry. Well, I mean, we got started ahead of you, but it's a pleasure to sit in your company, Greg. And like I had mentioned to Leonard earlier, that you are the one that actually, you know, uh, speak volume through this program, through our program, because you show them from their own words. You show and tell. You put the icing on the cake for our viewers, both at home and abroad, and for those who watch our program. And I welcome you tonight, my brother. Good night.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Good night, Greg.
I try my best. First, let me say good night to both of you. It is always a pleasure
Okay.
sitting virtually with you guys here on this platform. And I also want to say good night to the people at home and abroad on this our 355th episode of Belizean Affair. I also want to point out, Mr. Wade, that I was looking at the count and it was like 4-1 in favor of no. So I hope that the outcome will be positive.
Amen.
With that said, Mr. Chairman, I want to go back to you.
Thank you, Greg. My brother, we that's one of the item for tonight, and the ICJ and the amnesty situation, and that police report that we see how that started, where it started, who started it, and where it ended up, and we see the words coming from our leaders. I say how they tell on themselves, right? But I we had Leonard was on the amnesty thing that I don't know if you saw that it's like what I would say, it's an ad from the immigration department saying, Greg, that those who have applied for amnesty and have children out of the country, right? They could apply for amnesty for these children, and it's going to be free of cost. So Leonard had commented about it. So I because that's what we were hearing, we were debating just now. So let's hear what you, because you know what's going on, right? Let's hear what you got to say on that.
I believe, Mr. Chairman, that there is nothing wrong with amnesty as long as it does not violate our Constitution. Our Constitution specifically speaks about our neighboring country who is acting like a child. But amnesty for me has been worldwide. We find people of different race, color, and creed migrating to make betterment for themselves and their family. So I have nothing against that. What I will say though, past and present government has been failing us when it comes to internal and external policy. Because then, if you want to bring in people under amnesty, you, the government, should fulfill your role as government, which is to get with private sectors and create jobs for not only Belizeans, but for people coming in under amnesty. You also should make sure, as you have been saying, you have collected enough grants and monies to build upon our electrical grid, because you have said it and we haven't been seeing the work done. And I want you, the people at home and abroad, to understand when you have more people coming in, your usage rise. And what that does, it will overload your grid that you have. But again, as I said, past and present government, it's not too long ago the present government talked about two implementation they made, one in the key and one up here on the northern road, where that should have helped to facilitate the extra wattage we need on the grill. But we have heard nothing more about that. And I can go on to say that it will be something of a turmoil in Belize when you are having amnesty and then you are having different people from different country coming in, or CARICOM brothers and sisters, and you have not upgraded your medical system, which was still lagging behind with your own Belizean people. You have not built nothing yet to help with that situation. And as we can see, you are trying to build a hospital without having the horses. And I'm saying this so we can look at what happened to that child coming in from the key. If you don't have the responsible people to run the hospital, and I'm speaking about nurses, doctors, this is what you will have. Because if you open new and modern facilities, what good is those facilities if you don't have the adequate people to run them? Like doctors, nurses, X-ray technician, etc. Things that are needed in a hospital. And I also want to point out that right now at the KHMH, when patient goes there, I've seen it happen with my own eyes. A young lady who was about to have childbirth through a C-section, they did not want it to perform it unless she had paid the bill in full. So again, there we go. We have past incident where we had patient died because they couldn't pay an ambulance fee. And as anyone can see, until past and present government has bought no fire trucks, no ambulances to help in assisting with patients who get sick or unable to reach the hospital. Most of these equipment are being donated by foreign entity. And again, we see the news where we have fire trucks go to out fire and no water. That is a poor example of what government should be. With that said, I go back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Greg. Well, you said you said a lot there, Greg, of real struggle that the Belizean people is going through as you speak. And here you have a government that want to put more load on that grid, right? But not only in the more load on the entire country and people. So what you think will happen, my people? So it's so sad to see how these guys, they quick to sell. They would sell about anything once they are getting some money, once they are getting some kind of hands out from the outside community, from outside of Belize, once they are getting money. Look how they sprung the terrorists on us. We
Mm-hmm.
get to find out when that guy was already at the airport and then handed with the Belizean patrimony, right? And then you hear a whole hell of a loop from the guy Fonseca. I mean, the foreign minister, he was him at the time, right? Of so
Courtney.
right? And he paints such a nice picture after the fact. So my point is, right, on that thing that the immigration is giving away right now, because like for me, it's like giving away our patrimony.
Mm-hmm.
You rightfully says there, Greg, as long as I am for people coming in, because I was a stranger in another land, right? But there's a right way and a wrong way. You go into somebody's house, you got to abide by the rules and regulations of that person's house. When I say that, we take in these people, they got to learn to abide by the rules of this country, rules and regulations, and go about doing things the right way. So here you go again. The last amnesty, I cannot give account of the amount of money that the US has given this Briseño administration to, to conduct that amnesty around the country. Where is that money? I ask, where is that money? Because, why I say that? Our immigration department personnel are paid by the taxpayers,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they were the ones. We have hospitals that is funded by our taxpayers' dollars, where
Mm-hmm.
these amnesty people have to take in their works and go test by a medical practitioner and all that to complete that application. So, did I asked the Briseño administration, did you um stop paying these public officer from the very first day you started that drive to the last day and pay them with that money you got?
No.
So, Mr. Briseño, that's why I've always talked about accountability, and I call on my government, the US government, to demand some accountability from the taxpayers' dollars that you are giving away, especially to what we see and some of us know that they do with this money. Start to demand some accountability. If you give the Belize government, Briseño administration, $250,000 US dollars, demand some accountability. Where is this man spending this for this sarcasm the other day? They get a hell of a lot of money to work on that project, right? Demand some accountability. Where is the money going? That is not hard for someone to do. right? So, but my thing is that, you know, you said about Greg, the as long as it does not violate the Constitution. Here we have a hostile nation, Guatemala, that does not respect the sovereignty, the length and breadth of this, and independence of this country. But yet, we see what past this two-party system does. Are they in line with our Constitution?
No.
Right. So, for me, that speaks volume, because I stood up when Guatemala threatened to invade Belize. I stood up ready to die for my country on the western border, right? And not knowing that, these are the hanky panky things that these people do, right? So I said, damn, sometimes I say, wow, what if something would have happened? I mean, these guys are selling out our patrimony left, right, and center, and there I was ready to die for it.
Mhm.
That's simple as I put it then, right? So it rooted deeply in me to see how these people behave. Well then, if our constitution is saying this, Mr. Briseño, and you are doing that, why not just make a deal with the Guatemalans and right? Don't worry about what your constitution say no more. Free or up, make we do business freely, right? No worry about what the constitution say because they're not true, right? Um, but the whole thing stinks, right? And yet they continue to bastardize our constitution, right? And they continue to spit in our face when some of us Belizean know we're like, hey, Guatemala, want to, do away with some of us because they had tried it before. And why are these leaders doing this or doing that? So make us
Appeal,
wonder, right?
appeaser.
Yes, make us wonder what is really going on, Greg and Leonard.
Mr. Chairman, it is more to it than what you are talking about. Put
Let it
aside
make sense.
Guatemala. Are we having a Caribbean NATO? We need to ask ourselves that. Because when you talk about people coming in from Caribbean country and they can stay and live and work, are you saying without even asking the people that this is our new republic? Because then how will that possible be when our constitution speak of how one can get a citizenship in Belize? We have laws for that, and we have an immigration department. The government never came to the Belizean people and asked about that. We will have a total confusion in this country because I want to first personally put this out there. People coming from those countries, some of them are graduates from the West Indies who are nurses, doctors, etc., and have higher and better knowledge in trade than some of our Belizean. So if they are coming in this country per se to work and stay, what will happen to the regular Belizean who does not qualify at this moment or does not have those outstanding degree? Because the farthest they can go is to college and not to a university. I mean, we have to look at all these scenarios. And then coming back, why I said, are we having a Caribbean NATO? That said, if Guatemala decide to invade and some of these people get injured, will their country step in and fight with Belize against Guatemala? All these questions has never been put to the government or to the people. So when you just go out there and you sign these documents and these deals without coming to your people, you are really putting your country in jeopardy. I go back to you, Mr.
One thing
Chairman.
before I pass it over to Leonard, one thing I could say though, um, I give thanks and praise to the British who has not abandoned us because we are an independent nation under the Commonwealth, Mr. Brisenio. And it's so ironic, guys, quickly that you know, because of all this aggression lately that has been happening, we see a British movement, right? And I bet my bottom dollar that the actions of Guatemala lately, it will stop. But as soon as the British leave make their presence not known anymore, they will continue to do. They will start again on the same track that they had left off. But right now, they are going to be dormant. That aggression will cease because they're afraid of the British, right? Because they know what they can do, right? And they are afraid to start something that they are not sure of. They are not sure of. But if the British had not started coming in the name of a jungle training, in the name of training, it has to have a name why they're here. In the name of the, they see, they backed off. Nothing is going to, the Sarsoon guy is going to be silent right now. The borders are going to be silent right now. And like I say, I give thanks and praise to the British. Leonard, what's any other item you want to, right?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, Leonard. And the counting is still going on as I speak, right, Greg? Okay, it's okay. Go ahead, Leonard.
Okay. Back to the issue of the Caribbean countries, not all of them, by the way, three of them, along with Belize, making
Yeah,
four,
yeah, yeah. Three and one. Yeah.
had agreed to have a free um, migration pattern.
Yeah.
Within that free migration pattern, there's an issue that I have been pointing out, and it goes that those other countries have a governance system, some of them, that's a little bit different than ours. They are a little bit ahead of us, and the laws that we have and the way our system is set up under our present constitution, some of our laws will have to be changed in order for us to match how they are running their country, because they are running their country with a lot of good faith towards their people and country, as compared to our countries being run by people, by jackals and hyenas and vultures who have no true interest in management of the country. And as a result, we the Belizeans have to be cautious and careful when we allow these guys to change our laws in order to match the laws of the other countries, so we can all be on equal footing. Because every time these guys they go to make any changes of our laws, they are so onerous that they don't make the changes that they really need to make. They make changes that they don't need to make, and they put us in a deeper hole. That has been the trajectory of all our makers, both on UDP as well as PUP side. Those being the two mass parties that has governed us since independence. But I have more to say on that, but I don't want to restrict my
Yes.
comment to that. I want to add something to the other point that was brought up about the British and the Guatemalan. Before the British they came, the Guatemalans was hot on our tail to be intimidating us in doing all manner of both problems on the high seas, problems on the Sarstoon, occupying the Sarstoon Island and planting their flags there and declaring it is theirs. When in fact they know that the matter is at the ICJ, and they have agreed that whatever the ICJ declares, that would have been what they would live with, and we should be able to live with. But they have no such intention of living with whatever the ICJ says. Because if the ICJ says that the Sarstoon belongs to us. It doesn't matter. The ICJ is not going to come and get it back for us. And we can't go and take it back unless we get some help from the British. As a matter of fact, I would venture to say we should put a British outpost there on the Sarstoon and let the British, you know, go there and do maritime training, jungle training, you know. Use the Sarstoon as a part of the small jungle, you know.
Yeah.
But that's not my main focus. I just brought it up because it conveniently came by. My point is that Belizean people have been taught, well, I shouldn't even say taught, they have been miseducated, misinformed. And as a result, a lot of them believe in fairy tales that no go so. First of all, they can't understand and recognize what we are saying when we say that Belize has a conditional independence. We were given a conditional independence at the time when we got independence. The British had to be like or godfather or godmother or whatever they want to call it in terms of holding over control of our foreign affairs and especially in regards to the defense portfolio as a security guarantee temporarily because of the same bellicose and hostile behavior of the Guatemalans and with this incessant bogus claim that they keep perpetrating to the point now where after so many years we are now at the ICJ and they're still not willing to live with what they said they would live with, the ICJ resolution and decision making process, because that's why they are hassling us and telling us that we can't go to the Sarsoon and that the Sarsoon Island belongs to them and all these other nonsense that they're playing high power games with and militarizing the whole of that area there and intimidating all military security people as well as our local Belizean people who are unarmed and who go there just, sometimes they just go there for one day. But the Guatemalans are stopping us from going there so that their people, their fisher folks, can use the area to fish and to deplete all the possible, resources. Besides that, from the Sarstoon Island to the Temash area in Belize, there's a lot of oil under that particular area. And the U.S. company that went and was doing drilling over there in Guatemala and came over in the Temash area to drill and had a problem with the local indigenous people know that we have major deposits there. So that's why the Guatemalans are trying to grab a hold of it now. And we can't stop them. And our leader are bending over and genuflecting and playing the fool and pretend that they don't know that all they need to do is pick up the damn phone and call for help. But they don't want to pick up their phone and call for help because the help
give me a second there, Leonard, please.
go ahead,
Greg, you want to read that result there, Greg, that you're putting up to the Belizean people, both at home and abroad? Greg?
Greg.
You want to read the result there, please? Yeah, please, Greg. You put up the banner there. Read. I would like for you to read it.
That was what the thing is saying.
Okay, let me read. Final tally: 857 votes. 59% of the voters. 678, 79% yes. 176 no. That's what it says, Greg?
Let me read it to you what it says. It says the final tally. 857 voted, 59%. Result, no 678, 79%. Yes, 176, 20%. Spoil, 3. Majority had voted against the proposition for legal cannabis industry and island of Kikaka. So there you have it.
And
thank you.
And on that point, they will not cease and desist because they will just try in another village. Okay? They will keep going until they could figure out a way where they can. Because this little village was small and they thought that they was going to pay out some money to encourage the people them to vote yes. And it was a short term, activity, right? So they had all their horses lined up, financed, and everything was set in motion for them to gain a victory. But like we say, God no like ugly. That's why I'm glad that I'm
But
pretty.
my
Okay,
good cousin,
go ahead,
you know
Alan.
what? You know what that does, my good cousin?
It blocks
Yes,
them out
Greg, go ahead.
It
for a little
places them
while.
in a spot
Yeah, for a little
because
while.
they
But they'll
cannot
come back.
bring that on the mainland, nowhere, no village,
Oh no, they
because
will
it's
try
a
again.
national issue.
They
So
set that
once you
precedent.
try to touch it,
Yes. They knew that from before, and we keep on
they
telling them
knew
that.
it.
That it's a national issue. But
Hmm.
these people are jackals. They want to run the thing the way they want to run it and to hell with anything else. And they will stuff it down our throat one way or another.
True.
That's the
Exactly.
way how they will operate. So they
Greg,
don't succeed tonight, they will come
yeah,
back again tomorrow or some other day
exactly. Greg
for
and
the same
Leonard,
objective.
through our medium here, through our Belizean Affairs show, show number 355. I would like to give my cousin Louis Wade, a big round of applause and thank you for staying the course and gathering, did what he did for the people that he had brought out to say no to the weed bill. I thank you.
Mr.
God bless you.
Chairman, let me add on that for you. The government has promised if they intend to do legislation, they made a promise to the church when they set aside the referendum that if they ever decide to do that, they would have a national referendum. And this is what they did. And to throw
Because they're a
that in
bunch
the
of
church's
scoundrels.
faces, right? The Minister of Home Affairs tried to call that a private referendum. No, please.
How they don't give a private referendum and refuse to give a referendum to the public, the general public, who had submitted their 20,000 plus signatures to get and was by that factor alone was justified and legitimized to have gone ahead and been given their referendum. But they won't go and give these jackals a referendum, and then whatever, if they had gotten a yes on this stuff, they'd have gone ahead and made a law in Congress to validate this yes, and then use that law to justify everybody else who wants to fall on the same category to just go ahead, and they will not have to address the matter nationally. Different little villages will be popping up here and there and demanding that they get the same rights and privilege like Kikaka, and being able to follow under the new law that these guys were about to put in Congress to justify Kikaka's people what you call their rights. Because it is their right, to ask for whatever they want to ask for. But their rights, or my right, or anybody else's right, can't supersede and overthrow everybody else's right, including the Constitution itself. So
Thank
these
you.
guys will just put in a fast one on us.
Yeah, thank you. Go
Some
ahead,
people
Greg.
will keep out in Kikaka
Yeah,
for,
go ahead, Greg.
Mr. Chairman, I want to go back to what your nephew had to say so the people can go back and listen to it.
When I went on the island last week, I challenged the village council chair lady, asking her whether or not this yes to marijuana for Kikaka was coming from the village council. And she flatly said no, that each councillor will be able to have their own position. But when I read the referendum question itself, you could clearly see that there was some kind of government input the way the question was written. And so I made a video that said that I don't believe, based upon my presence on the island and questioning the leaders, I don't believe this question arose on the island. Well, lo and behold, yesterday they launched their campaign, and by today we see the minister of New Growth Industries, Karim Musa, who is, by the way, also the minister of police, putting his face on the yes campaign. And so there we go. We see that there is a government representative and a very powerful minister of that, who is supposed to be the minister of police, who is supposed to be reducing drugs on the island, pushing for marijuana. When we say that our police officers don't know whether they should arrest public smoking or what they're supposed to do, because the law prohibits public smoking. What the law allows is for you to have 10 grams, but you cannot sell marijuana and you cannot smoke in public. So here they are now making a new set of promises that they cannot keep. The industry will be regulated, this, that, the other, the next. If you cannot maintain the promises and the regulations made from 2017 with decriminalization, which is very basic to uphold, how will you uphold legislation? And so I rest my case today that the issue of legalizing marijuana and creating an industry does not come from Kikaka.
And Mr. Chairman and people at home and abroad, rightfully said, because as we say here in Belizean affair, they always do what?
Tell on themselves.
On themselves. And here it is.
You've probably heard me many years, you might say even crying, about the lack of a budget for new growth industries. Thankfully, we received a budget to hire personnel in our office. And so we have an acting director of new growth industries, we have an economic analyst, and we have 2 other staff at New Growth Industries. This is a fully private venture, nothing sponsored by the government at all, not like the ICJ effort that saw the government put money into the actual referendum and supporting a yes vote. So there's none of that here. This is a fully private venture, and this is being led by Councillor Ilya Rosado.
Can I say something, Greg, before you?
Go ahead, Mr. Chairman.
I know I asked you for play one other video. When further implicate, right? But I want to ask Greg, is there a way that you could arrest these people? I mean, arrest the minister?
Constitutionally, Mr. Wade, the people has a choice to hit
No, for lying, Greg, for lying.
But Mr.
Blatant
Wade,
lying.
Mr.
Blatant.
Wade, it is the right time now for the people to go after them as a no confidence government. They have not solved crime. They have not helped economically in what they said they would do. And here we find them trying to push an issue that is a national one, trying to use a back door.
So here he says, we receive a budget. Where does that budget come from? Where does that budget come from? And then with the other side of his mouth, with his other mouth, because this mouth says, crying about them, and they finally receive a budget. And then on his other mouth, he says, this is a private venture. So why say that if there's somewhere that you could charge these people for lying?
Mr. Chairman.
That's all I am saying. And go ahead, Leonard.
Could it be possible that we might be misunderstanding what the man said? I mean, he said the word in what we hear, But it is possible. Is it possible? No, I'm trying to be facetious, so please bear with me. Okay? I'm trying to get to a point. Is it possible that this gentleman is saying that, you know what? We got some guys from down the southern cartel there, who are willing to put up some money and make the island prosperous. If we could make them sell anything there, right? Because nobody on the island will be able to grow it unless they put one special growth industry set up there where they could, do it in-house, and set up some tents and different things and do it, but the point is, are we to understand, or maybe we misunderstand, that probably there's somebody that have big money have power behind their name and circumstance to suborn for we whole government into allowing marijuana to become a growth industry in a free country so that the southern cartel people they don't have to send nothing from down south, that we could grow it right there and then we could ship it to wherever we need to ship it, even though we are already classified as a narco state, right? These guys don't care about that. Such a classification, as far as they're concerned, they don't see the effects, the cause and effects. So now they want us to be classified as being legally a narco state, as compared to now that we're being classified as a narco state when we don't have no legal legislation or authority of law or lawfulness to carry on. And then we have treaties already signed with the United States and other countries, especially as regards to transshipments of drugs and things. I mean, like I say, I'm trying to be facetious right? When I say maybe with a misunderstanding. The man to tell
I
you the truth.
understand you,
And
Leonard. I understand you. Yeah.
you know, and there's some
With
big
the
private people
yeah.
want to set up for their one private thing, and the government and get them license
So
and dispensary and everything else. The government and facilitate them with free powers.
exactly.
There
So
was a man
Greg,
named uh, oh man, the gentleman McAfee. Remember Mr. McAfee when
I
when I
sure
chased
do.
over the
Yeah.
country?
Yeah.
Why? Because he was making his own drugs in our country,
So
and he fall of somebody whenever
mm,
get them political campaign.
yeah.
So they start
Yeah.
put pressure on the man.
Yeah. So 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 Greg, Leonard and Greg, I want to ask
Crazy.
what we've been
Okay.
seeing. Isn't this the same police minister who said that he hadn't seen the report and
Mm-hmm.
and he hadn't seen the video,
Mm-hmm.
and then this last one he hadn't seen the report, the
Mm-hmm.
police report. But yes, the only thing they know in cabinet is that the prime minister mentioned it in cabinet, but they haven't seen it.
They haven't discussed
Isn't
it.
it the same man that says
They
that?
haven't gotten their copies.
Mr. Wade,
So
you
I
remember
I,
for
I,
a
I give
long
you the
time,
floor.
Mr. Chairman, have me an excuse.
Go ahead.
Do
Go
you
ahead, Greg.
recall for a long time I have been specifying and bringing out how these ministers they stick together, and once they put forward a narrative, they all jump on it. So
Well,
you can see,
because of the cabinet rule, everything that comes out
you
of
can,
cabinet has to be a
yes,
majority vote.
you can plainly see
Bunch
it.
of scoundrels,
Once
man.
one says something, they all say the same thing, you know.
No care how
But
stupid it sounds or it seems.
I want
There you
to,
go,
And
Leonard. There you go, Leonard. No care how stupid it
when
sounds.
I try to correct it,
Go ahead, Greg. Go ahead.
crazy.
I was about to say I want to applaud Mehdi to comfort and speak about the
Bridge?
prejudicism
Bridge?
of the Balkan Bridge
But
from Mr. Roque Matos.
it's not Belkan anymore, you know.
What it is?
Then don't unfold the new name or the
Uh-huh.
new place, right? It's a different bridge now.
Oh,
They're not Canada that sponsor this one.
China.
You know, Belize Canadian bridge is the Belkan, right? This is the Chinese Taiwan that are sponsoring this one. So we have two Bel China now. We have to have Bel China
But
1 and Bel
but you
China
know
2.
what is so amazing, Mr. Brackett? And they know this was the same government in power when they went to the House and passed a law about plagiarizing people's private things. You remember what they
Yeah,
said?
they make the law
They made the law. They passed the law. Now they are violating it.
because
You know,
the laws are made for other. Okay, the laws are made by the privileged few for the benefit and the well-being of the privileged few, and not me and you. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. I mean, that's kind of philosophically stating the facts, right? But that's what it's all about.
So, guys, on this independent investigators that they will be choosing, um, do do you foresee that everything will come to light?
Never, Mr. Chairman. Never, never. It is not set up or designed for the truth to come to a head. Everything that will be done, everything that has been done, is currently being done, and will ever, they go way into the future as far as eternity, no, right? I don't mean that they exaggerate. They go beyond even the time that I might be on the face of this earth. But I'm saying, never, ever is the truth gonna come out in any documentary form as regards to who the culprits, who the movers and shakers, who the initiators, who gave the directives, on whose behalf it was done. None of those things. We will never. We will keep talking about the tape, some of which has been disappeared already or altered or doctored. You know, we'll keep talking around in circles about all kind of different side views.
Mr. Brackett, do you recall I told you those tapes will never surface because
I
it is
recall
what you
that.
call evidence,
Yes, but
and
for a
they know
different
they
reason.
cannot show that
For a
before
different
it
reason.
goes to a trial?
They don't
So
want to show it. They don't
so
want this
guys,
tape to be seen because
yeah. So
already,
so
Mr. Chairman,
go
already
ahead.
what we have seen, they are telling us we haven't seen, or what we saw is not really what we actually saw. We are misinterpreting what we
So
saw because our eyes are lying to us.
let make sense. Let
Thank you.
me let
No
me
problem.
take something out of my bring something out here verbal, Greg and Leonard. So you want to tell me, Leonard, that whatever is the narrative right now, that
It
will
will
be to the
change.
end.
No, no,
And
no. It will
so
change, sir.
so listen, wait, let me finish here real quick.
Please.
So you want to tell me that Mr. Budner's attorneys and the OAS and all the outside entities will not uncover the truth?
Mr. Chairman, there's a thing called poisoning the well. Okay, and that's what has been done. It's been done and will continue to be done. And so long as that remain the circumstance that the well is poisoned, you cannot have clean water to be drunk or consumed from that well to end up, adequately. The well
I
has been
I
poisoned.
I I would say it differently, Mr. Chairman. If I was an independent investigator, nothing would be swept under the rug. I will go from point A to point Z. A. Mr. Budna saw a vehicle from Thursday following him. He gave the information to a police corporal. License plate, including color. You can't get away from that. That's easy
Greg,
to
was
trace.
that the same corporal that we saw in the video
Two,
that came out, or is that a different corporal? The name of the
two,
person. Was it two
we
different
know
corporals?
that from what Mr. Budna said and
Remember
told
that.
Jules,
Remember that.
he was specifically correct in his video statements when he made them. 3. The lady who first reported the kidnapping, the mention of one of them had on a white t-shirt. So it's not fiction. We're not in Hollywood. This is real thing. 4. We saw a police corporal in the tape. That is not going away. 5. We already saw the pistol that was handed over, signed out to who? Mr. Flowers. So all these are
And he
questions
gave the other
that
officer,
cannot go
he exchanged to the other
unanswered.
officer the gun for the stuff that the officer had in his hand. Right there. And we saw that happen right there on the tape itself again. But all of that, Mr. Chairman and Greg and the rest of the Belizean public who are listening to our program tonight, all of that still does not get us back to who orchestrated the whole process, because a lot of other people were involved, as we now currently know, than just the ones that we are talking about in terms of what we saw on the tape. We know a lot of other people were involved. My point is, who initiated or set in motion what we are now talking about and focusing on? Because that's where we need to get to in order to understand how this process got facilitated with such powers behind it to the point where it suborned even the commissioner of police himself. He is he and then with the second report, they provided the commissioner of police with a firewall to declare him non-culpable for anything that has gone on, and will have to suffer no consequences for him lying to the public and giving and turning over a bogus, incomplete report to the prime minister, for which he was put on remand. Okay, there are a lot of different things. We will
So
never ever get back to what the source of the how the thing got generated.
so
We could get
so
back there
so
if
guys.
we, if we
Mhm.
had good investigators currently,
That,
but
that,
those investigators will not be allowed to get back there, because getting back there would mean high-powered people in the government will have to take some lickings, and they are not about to allow that to happen. That's why they exculpate the commissioner and bring him back, okay, and put a firewall around him and declare that anybody will have any
You,
issues with them will have to face the government coffers because they will sue.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to say this right. What is happening in Belize is because we have no unity. Look at the referendum in Kikaka. It is not just blue, it is blue and red that came together to say no. That is unity.
I wish the rest of the country would be like that, Greg
Exactly what I
and Mr.
was
Chairman.
about. Once we have unity to keep the government accountable, no governments will have power. They
Uh,
will have to abide by the citizen who elect them and place them there.
and that is what is called the people saving the people. Okay,
No, that is what is called democracy, Mr. Brackett.
the people saving the people. Only the people could save the
so
people.
so Greg, Greg and Leonard, what I'm hoping for? I'm hoping for very soon that Bodna's defense attorneys, Bodna's people will come forward to the public and let the public know what is their intention. And I'm not saying for them to come to the public and tell the public what they have or what they had uncovered or what. No, tell the people what what is their intention, right? And my thing on that, I just hope and pray that Mr. Budna gets some good people that has his interests and the interest of right and wrong, right? In terms of uncovering the right, and do the right thing for Mr. Budna and denounce the wrongdoers. And if, because once the wrongdoers sees that Mr. Budna's attorneys, defense attorneys, is on the right track, they'll try to elude them somewhere else, whether either with money, promise, or something. So I just hope that he gets some right person that want to do the right thing and is not afraid to call the government out and to call whoever is involved out. But what they have, I would like for them to keep it secret until that day in court. Back to
Uh,
you, Leonard, with 3 minutes.
it, uh, quickly on what you just said, they can't hold the evidence till the day in court because that would be constituted as obstruction. And besides that, before the court hearing, you have to have um, evidentiary hearing as to what is going to be accepted or not accepted in the hearing itself. You have different procedures and protocols and stuff that goes on. But I want to go to my point that I needed to address. Why why I stipulated earlier that the well has been poisoned is that two reports have been submitted to the Prime Minister, when in fact those reports should have been submitted to the DPP if there was any justification or need for actual criminal prosecution. Okay. Secondly, those two reports were submitted by people at the highest level in the police department. One by the holder of the position of commissioner. Okay. The second one by the assistant commissioner. Right. The second one that was submitted, so far, the public is not aware of what is in that report, other than for what the Prime Minister stipulated. Okay. As regards to the two recommendations. Now, in that report, it should have to have, even though it has not been addressed to the public, it should have to have the elements, the investigative elements that that police officer used to make to make a decision, to make recommendations to the Prime Minister. That police officer should not have been putting herself or anyone putting her in a situation where she is culpable for making any direct recommendation, because that's outside of her wheelhouse. That's not her responsibility. She is supposed to collect the information, decipher the information, so that those in management who are not technical and knowledgeable about investigative matters would at least get a sense of what the whole thing is all about. But as regards to elements or prosecutory elements in that particular report, that should go to the DPP. This person has already exculpated the commissioner and said that in her report and in her findings, there was nothing there that what the term is,
One more
that
minute
blames,
there. Yeah, one more minute there, Leonard.
yeah, there's nothing in her report that blames the commissioner or shows the commissioner to have committed any crime or any fault or at fault for anything. He's not even being told about the lies that he said. You know, in other words, he was exculpated, and the purpose was to bring him back, and that report does that job. But the report didn't deal with the substantive investigative issues and the elements of culpability or justification for prosecution. It was about exculpating high-powered individuals and created what you call a firewall, so that no investigation will ever be able to go beyond that firewall that she just created there on behalf of the commissioner. So therefore, if there's somebody above the commissioner who authorized the commissioner to move ahead with this process of allowing that thing to have happened under his watch by junior officers or junior police individuals, as we also know, because we all know the whole thing is an inside job within the police department. That much we can conclude on based on the evidence that we have seen.
Thank you.
But none of us know who gave the order and or justification to suborn the commissioner of police. It has to be somebody above his level of authority.
Exactly. Thank
And
you,
the police minister, quickly, sir, and the police minister had already pulled himself out of that when he declared initially that there need to be an investigation, a high-level investigation. And then the Prime Minister went and jumped in, pushed him aside, take over the whole thing. Somebody in the power for somebody else above them.
Thank you, Greg. You have 4 minutes, Greg.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to say this because my cousin, in his opinion, and we all have our own opinion,
exactly,
tends to believe that this thing will go away. But I want to say
no,
why
I didn't say that it will go away. Greg, that's
well, hold on, Leonard.
Yes, I didn't
Well,
say that. I didn't imply that.
in,
Quickly, Leonard.
I
Quickly,
was very
quickly.
careful with my words.
okay,
Oh,
well,
all right. Go ahead.
your impression,
The impression that
your
you might get, you
is
got it.
it will be swept under the rug.
Okay.
I kind of differ, and I will say why. The government is trying to do damage control. They know a lawsuit is coming, and they don't want another lawsuit. That is why they came with the 13th Amendment.
They can't stop that, Greg. They can't stop the
Okay?
lawsuit that's coming. They
So
know it's
now the
coming, and they
lawsuit
can't
is
stop it.
coming. They're playing the narrative role. Nobody's seen any tape. So there is no evidence for the lawsuit. But I'll tell you what, if the acting commissioner is subpoenaed along with the present commissioner and the minister of police, they will be in some serious trouble. I will say why. The acting commissioner said he placed Mr. Flowers an interdiction because he was the only one being identified.
That was a lie.
Then, after that, when the report came out, damage control again. The good minister of police said from the report, they haven't identified that any police officers was involved.
Another
When
lie.
he was asked, so then why place Mr. Flowers an interdiction? You know what he said? Because Mr. Budna and Jules
Identified
identify
him.
him. They
That is
went
another
by
lie. That is another lie.
what them say. So
No,
that is leading me to say the police is sitting down and not doing any investigation
because they don't want the
because they would
investigation to
not
point
have said that.
the finger at the person. They don't want to get to where the investigation will show
Well,
who are
Leonard,
the
well, let
culpable
Greg finish
individuals.
up. Yeah, let Greg finish up.
So, Mr. Chairman, as I said, I can't see it going away. I can't see it going away because you still have Mr. Jones and the present commissioner bumping heads. And this is a long tail story. And we have to remember who appointed the present commissioner, the Minister of Police. And who brought back Mr. Flowers? The present commissioner. So it's a long tail stories that will never end with a lot of ifs and maybe and etc. I go to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank
for
you,
your
guys.
vote.
Thank you. Thank you. All I'm saying, guys, is that it's not going to end well, and I keep saying it, right? And as for me, guys, Leonard and Greg, I'm waiting for something to be said from the other side. Where are they at? What they have? And what is their intention? And I would like to see those faces from the other side. And then it will, put me on a different direction. But you want to say something, Leonard, really
Yes, sir.
quick? Go ahead.
Uh-huh.
I close out.
This is a criminal matter, and it's an international criminal matter, for that matter of fact. It doesn't just stay within the boundaries of our country. But what I would like to say, for example, tonight, specifically, the issue,
Clear, Leonard.
yes, the issue of Mr. Bunna's hijacking, beat down, and human trafficked to an enemy country is a national disgrace. And I would say not just treacherous, but actually treasonous.
Mr.
And
Chairman,
even now, they are trying to stop the man from being able to communicate Free government I'm talking about is alleged to be trying to stop the man from making any information come out. So then they try to silence him there, and then they try to make rules and regulations where they put in place to say that people can't discuss this matter. And if you discuss it and call any names or point to anybody, or you
Yes.
come up with or have any evidence, if you hold any evidence, you can be charged for
Thank
obstructing
you,
justice.
Leonard. We are about out of
There's a whole lot
time.
of different
Yeah,
things
yeah.
that's
Mr. Chairman, there's a
Greg,
party
quickly.
going.
Yeah.
There's a party going on at Kikaka with your nephew leading
My
it.
cousin. My cousin.
Your
Yeah,
cousin.
Greg. Yeah.
Your cousin, not your nephew.
Right now, so they
Right now.
official.
What?
Okay, good. It's official. Thank you.
Congratulations to him and everybody else involved.
Again, yes, Leonard. We gotta. When people stand up for issues and righteous, we gotta. Yes, right. We gotta give praise where it's due. And on that note, guys, Leonard, it's always a pleasure, my brother, to sit in your company. Greg,
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
it's always a pleasure to sit in your company.
Thank
and
you, Mr. Chairman.
as always, I applaud you for the job you do on this program in show and tell. Maybe that's one of the reasons why they haven't taken us to court yet, right? Because you always show what we talk about, you back up on what we talk about, and show the other side that we are saying the truth, right? And like you always says, they always tell on themselves, and we just reminding them on this program the things that they do. And we look forward for Greg and Leonard for Friday night, Leonard, with your chairmanship of your Friday night program. And for those, Leonard and Greg, who tune into us, who watch us, we want to give them thanks and thanks and praise, for supporting us, not with money. When I have to be careful when I say the word support, right?
Somebody I think that signed the paper for UP government.
Yes, I think that we are not on that budget. We are not on that budget. So thanks to those who share our program, guys. So we look forward for Friday night, Leonard, right?
Yes, sir, definitely.
And thanks for gracing the show tonight, and we hope that the public take away something from us. So yeah, you see those three guys there, they're not in line with this, they're not in line with that, see how they talk, they're on that road, they are not on that road. So, I'm glad that we are always able to show the public where we stand. I give thanks and praise for you guys. So always steadfast.
I stand as a vanguard of the Constitution.
Yes, sir.
And
for not backing down, and for speaking out truth to power. Thank you, Greg.
Thank you. With that said, good night to you, the people at home and abroad.
Nice show.